let me work my way around here. No, there are actually people that would take something like that and cut it. You could probably make 3 or 4 different pieces of artwork out of that. And they do all kinds of neat stuff to it. And here we find them just sitting here. The craziest things you find just sitting here. Like that, for example. Guys, that right there is a really big bone. That doesn't belong to a raccoon or anything small. That is a really big bone. I don't know what that would belong to, even though it actually looks like it would go. Oh Lord. Oh Lord. That just gave me the spooks. All right, think of happy things, happy things, happy things. Start! Oh, amazing grace, how sweet the sorrow, because he lives. Because I know he holds the future. All is good. All is good. Nothing to see here, folks. But wasn't that a weird bone? It looked like it would have come off a man's arm. Hey folks, Lester here. Today we're going on a cow hunt. Now listen, y'all know that I've made a few videos about putting the bigs out back into the back pasture and kind of letting them, or you might say forcing them, to help us work a little bit and keep these pastures cleaned up. I've talked about how we haven't even had our first frost yet, and there's still a lot of green grass around, yet our bigs have gotten spoiled, and they've been hanging out right here in the barn courtyard, if you will, and waiting until I'll come out and feed them snacks. So, for the last 2 weeks, I've been walking them back and closing the gate behind them. We've taken hay, I've taken them a few snacks and dropped them off. The horses, though, let me turn my camera around. The horses still refuse to leave right there behind the gate. The cows, though, I don't know where they're going. So even though they have access to the entire 40 acres, the horses refuse to leave this spot. But the donkeys and the cows are going off every day, and I don't know where they're going. Now, if I start calling, the horses and donkeys come immediately. But the cows are taking a long time to come out of the woods. And so today, I'm going to go on a little bit of a cow hunt. I'm excited about this because I like to think of myself quite the tracker. You know, it was a symbol of respect in the older days when you could find someone that could track. And I like to think of myself as still having some of the old skills. So today I'm going to go tracking cows. All right, so I'm going to tell you right now, there's a lot of space to cover back here. 40 acres may not seem like a whole lot, but wooded 40 acres is a ton of land. And that may not make much sense to you, but 40 acres of pasture may not seem like a whole lot. But 40 acres of wooded land, it's a lot of ground to cover, folks. And so I'm going to have my work cut out for me. It's a nice chilly day. It's not hot. It's not cold. And so this is going to be fun. You guys, come on, let's go. Let's make an adventure out of this. Aren't you guys a little bit curious about what they're doing all day? Seriously, aren't you a little bit curious about what they're doing with their time? I mean, I know they found something to eat, but I just want to know what and where. That's all I want to know is what and where. All right, let's go have some fun. All right, so I'm going to circle around the back side and work my way back up. So this is the trail that we keep mowed out the best that we can. It hasn't rained in a while, so it's nice and dry through here. It's a little bit bumpy. But the thing is, as I drive through here, I can see all the way across this little grassy plain. And I know they're not laying down and all that because there would be no reason to go up in there and lay down. All right, now making this turn here, this is where we got to start watching where we're driving. It's a little bit more treacherous, the terrain coming down through here. If you keep your eyes open, you might could even spot a coyote or a wild boar. This is all pretty flat out through here, and whenever it rains, this ground holds water. You could never drive down through here if it had been raining. So the woods are pretty thick here. This is a really neat patch of woods. This is actually where the donkeys come when they've had their babies. I think we've had 3 babies born here in this little spot through here. What happens is it gets so thick that the trees block a lot of the wind, and the donkeys have chosen to come here. I also think they might feel a little bit safer down in here from predators. You would think that they'd be safer out in the grassy areas, but for some reason the donkeys have always come here to have their babies. So I believe that they know more than what we do about what's what. All right, we got to be real careful crossing through here. What we do not want to do is get our tires into those ruts, because if you do that, then all of a sudden the middle of your side-by-side is going to drag on that little hill right there. We're going to try to straddle it. Oh no, oh no. Guys, that is what I did not want to do. That is what I did not want to do. Hold on, let's see if we can get ourselves out of here. Oh boy. Oh, Lester, that's the one thing that I did not want to have happen. Dang it, Lester, dang it, dang it, dang it. Boy. Oh, boy. Yeah, that is bad. So I've had to call for help. Jake is home, luckily, and he's going to bring the tractor down here with the chain and pull me out. So while I'm stuck waiting for Jake, looky there. Y'all see what I see? Now those are not a very big hoof print, so that could be Gracie. He's over here a little bit bigger. That might be Mama. But those are for sure cow. So while I was waiting, I walked back down the trail and picked up that barrel that had washed up in here. And that might become a really fun toy for Tex. A toy for Tex. So what do y'all think I'm doing right now? So this is not some kind of a shaman or magic healer or nothing like that. I'm not using Mother Nature to cleanse myself or anything. But I was going to show you something while I'm waiting. If you ever find yourself trapped in the woods and you have a flying insect problem, which mosquitoes are not bad right now, but if you ever find yourself having to deal with flying insects, you take off a small piece of a branch of something very lightweight, and you just simply kind of swish it around your head or around any body parts where you feel the mosquitoes biting at you. And this acts a whole lot like a tail. An animal would swish its tail around to kind of keep mosquitoes and stuff away. And the same thing holds true here. I can take this and almost with no effort sit here and just kind of swish it around me. But I'm going to show you something. If I didn't have that, think about the effort. I mean, I know I'm kind of exaggerating a little bit, but think about the effort that I'm having to exert in swatting and stuff away from me. Instead, just take a small branch of some kind of tree and just kind of swish it around. And that right there in itself will keep all the flying pests away. You want to know an advantage to having a four-wheeler instead of a side-by-side? So I know a lot of older men like to get the side-by-side because it's more comfortable. It is more comfortable. You can ride with your partner side-by-side, and you have that back end to hold stuff if you want to have tools or whatever you want to carry around. They're just more convenient, but they're also heavy. If I had been using one of the four-wheelers and that happened, then I would have simply got off and lifted it up out of the mud, because a four-wheeler is not that heavy. And you can't pick the whole thing up at once, but you could pick up the back end and set it up out of the mud, and then pick up the front end and move it out of the mud, and then you'd be good to go again. So there are advantages to having a four-wheeler compared to a side-by-side. I like the side-by-side because it's convenient. It's just, you know, a little bit easier to get into and drive around, and you have all your stuff on there with you. But if you ever get stuck like this, you're wishing you had a four-wheeler. There comes Jakey. Yes. You know we can't pull this thing backwards because there's nothing to grab onto under here. I have buried all of the frame, and I don't want to get in there and start having to dig, try to find the frame. So instead, we're going to use the front bumper and just pull me straight forward. There's all the front bumper right there. That's attached to the frame. And Jake's going to back right up over here. Oh, he's videoing too. All right, y'all can see how deep I got that thing stuck. But we're good now, and we're going to continue on our cow hunt. A lot of y'all are saying, Lester, after that ordeal, just go home. But I can't. I started off on a mission, and I have to continue my mission. But trust me when I say this, it can't get worse. When the beginning of your video starts like that, it can't get any worse. All right, I've come across this back ridge, and there are still no signs of the cows. So what I'm going to have to do at this point is head down to that little spot by the river. This would be a goat's paradise. Seriously, you'd have to watch your goats because of the fact there are predators back here. But look at all of the green stuff. And this is the kind of stuff that goats thrive on. So what's happened is, this is the fence line that separates my dad's and my Uncle Raleigh's property. You can see that the fence used to come right through here. There are posts and little pieces of barbed wire here and there. And so I'm walking along, trying to figure out where my cows keep going. They're getting out, and I don't know exactly how they're getting out. Okay, so there's a fence right over there. I don't know exactly where I am though, because I've never come down through here. I believe that at this point I'm over on my dad's side of the property, but obviously Dad doesn't have his cows grazing back here, or there wouldn't be all this stuff. I'm not so concerned about where I step because it's been so cold that we haven't, I'm sure most snakes are already laid up for their winter. Wait a minute. I know right where I am. That right there is Jake's hog trap. Oh my goodness, I'm actually way over here on Dad's land by now. So this is the fence line that keeps my dad's cows out of here. This is the fence line that keeps my dad's cows from coming back here. And there's a gate about 100 yards that way where we can drive our four-wheelers back, and we actually have some trails that go back over there. But, and look, there is the gate that I used to go between my dad's and Uncle Raleigh's, the back pastures. Wow, I had no idea I was this far back in here. So our cows are walking down through here because I see their footprints, but they can't get out and go up to my dad's property. Not with his cows, but they are coming back here where they probably shouldn't be. Okay, well that solves that mystery. No, because I really was wondering where they kept going every day. We had gone on several cow hunts and had to end up calling them, and they finally come back, but I wasn't sure where they were going. Do y'all know what this over here is? This is a pine knot. This is a pine knot. Now, I don't have a saw with me now, but the thing is, this is the heart of a pine tree. And if you were to take that home with you and take a knife or an axe and chop some of that off, talk about some good fire starter. Yeah, these pine knots, there's another one right there. The heart of those things, the very, very center, the core. Man, it is some good fire start material. They've been there a long time for the tree around them. Whoa, you got to be real careful where you're stepping here. Look, these little nubs right there, they will sure trip you. They can also puncture a tire. So if I was to try to drive a four-wheeler down through here or a side-by-side, they could sure puncture a tire. You run over one, it'll go through your tire. All right, that's where I parked over there. All right, we're making our way out of here. Man, you could actually get lost down through here. The creek goes that way and it goes this way. That's where I parked. So I know I'm going the right way, but if there was someone who wasn't really experienced with reading the signs, I'm not reading signs. I have kind of an internal thing of which way is north, south, east, and west. I do. I have an internal thing. A lot of people don't have an internal thing like that, but I do. Oh, that one's rotten. That one's no good. Look at all this. You know there are people that buy stuff like this. Look. No, you take that to a flea market, and people buy stuff like that, and they do all kinds of art with it. They would probably cut that into 3 different pieces, and they do all kinds of neat art with stuff like that. And around here, you just find them laying around. That's not all you see laying around. Well, looky here. Would you look at this? Would you look at this? There are my missing misfits right there. I'd been looking for them for a large part of this day, and here they come at supper time. They know it's time for dinner, and here they come. Oh, my little misfits. Hey, my misguided misfits. I'm going to call the video that.